GBC News, the headlines. 10 years on from Brexit, the Chief Minister says he is pleased with where the ROC's got to against all odds. The Gibraltar Music Festival returns with a 3-day event announced for September. New rules could see Cat 2 residents charged for sending their children to government schools. And in basketball, the European Championship for small countries gets underway on the ROC. Good evening. The Chief Minister has described the Brexit vote as the worst act of political self-harm the United Kingdom has ever inflicted on itself. However, Fabian Picardo is pleased with where Gibraltar has got to 10 years on, against all odds. With the treaty signature now round the corner and demolition at the frontier underway ahead of its implementation, the Chief Minister told GBC, "It's happening. We're there." In fact, if the UK ever wanted to rejoin the EU, he believes Gibraltar could be in a position of having to evaluate what would work best for it. Christine Vasquez joined the Chief Minister in looking back at the past decade post-Brexit.
My goodness, as you know, I thought 10 years ago, and I think now, that Brexit was the worst act of political self-harm that the United Kingdom could ever inflict on itself. I was very keen that they should reconsider the decision once they knew what the withdrawal agreement entailed and once the TCA was put before the British people, because it's one thing to be told, should we stay or should we go? It's quite another to have that put in the context of what leaving actually meant. So it's not impossible that the UK might, as generations change and as prime ministers change and as political parties present new manifestos and as they look back on the absence of growth, what leaving the European Union has really meant for the United Kingdom, that they might decide to go back in. Gibraltar has a freestanding now relationship with the European Union on fluidity of people and fluidity of goods, which implies a lot of level playing field provisions, but not all of the provisions of membership. Should the United Kingdom, let's just do the mental exercise, should the United Kingdom go back in, the British Gibraltarian would once again become a European citizen. The territory of Gibraltar, if it were to remain as it is now, would not be a territory of the European Union, and we would have to make an assessment of how we were more competitive, staying as we are or going in with the United Kingdom in some way, shape or form with a different accession arrangement. The key point, of course, would be this. We now enjoy a single market in services with the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom goes into the EU. It might not be able to maintain that service as it joins the rest of the single market in services. We have something in our treaty which is designed in part to provide for that, which is what is known as the definitive model, which we would never like to see apply. But there are some circumstances in which the definitive model might become relevant should the United Kingdom join the EU. But I hope that in that period we would have an opportunity for a negotiation for another generation and another Chief Minister. With my support, if I'm around, of course happy to help any Chief Minister faced with this new conundrum, that in that accession negotiation we might also be able to keep some of what is bespoke to Gibraltar, what is unique to Gibraltar.
Well, Chief Minister, my next question was among those lines. Talk to me about the past 10 years, because you've had your work cut out for you. Now that we're very nearly there, the politics in the UK and in Spain seem to be not at the highest ebb.
Well, I tell you, the last 10 years have been probably the most difficult of my political career, the most difficult of my professional life, and the most difficult in my personal life. So they're not anything to write home about, although I'll be writing a lot about them once I've left office, because I think it's important to record what's happened in the past 10 years and how the good old ship Gibraltar has been able to navigate these very choppy waters to arrive at what I think is a magnificent port of final call now, to have these new treaty arrangements and to have been able to deal with pandemic and to deal with Brexit and to deal with where we were coming from in the context of Partido Popular, Margallo, etc. in the past 10 years, I think also says a lot about the journey that the Gibraltarians have been embarked upon. And of course, I couldn't have been prouder than to have been the captain of the ship in that difficult period. I always used to say, when we were in the hardest moments with Michael Llamas and with Joseph, the three of us, in endless flights, endless waiting rooms, waiting for aircraft and for meetings to start or end. The only thing worse than being in charge now at this difficult time, for us, for the political addicts, would be not being in charge now, sitting outside, watching somebody else run this.
10 years later, we're now finally seeing the physical evidence of movement with the demolitions at the frontier.
It's happening. So if you look at the catastrophe that was Brexit, we have worked extraordinarily hard with the support of teams throughout the government, with an incredible level of support from Whitehall, support we would never have had if it wasn't for Brexit. Real British support in every Whitehall department that has been relevant, led by the Foreign Office and the Director Europe, Director Europe in particular, Lindsay Appleby, who has had the misfortune of having job after job which involved contact with Gibraltar and ending up with his appointment as ambassador in Brussels. Support across the board at every level to produce what, if you pinched me, I would not have told you on the morning of the 24th of June 2016 could be the end game of what that Brexit morning gave us. I said to Nigel Farage in an interview, the early interview I've done on GB News, if this goes the right way, if we get this deal, and if it works like we expect it to work, you might still get me saying that the Brexit we did not want turned out to be the best possible thing for Gibraltar.
You say it's happening. You said we're ready. Many a slip between cup and lip. Are we there?
We're there. It's just a question now of getting that signature on the document. There's two signatures, one for the EU and one for the United Kingdom, and then the opportunity to start provisional application and then ratification. Between signature and ratification, of course, there is a world, because although in the United Kingdom the CRAG process is quite defined, it's 21 sitting days, and come or go Labour prime ministers, as long as you've still got a 203 majority in the House of Commons, then this is going to pass the CRAG process. In the European Parliament, it's more of a challenge, but I'm very confident it will pass with a very decent majority, that people will see the value of this. There is work to be done by the United Kingdom mission in Brussels, by the Gibraltar mission in Brussels, and by the Commission and the Council to ensure that the Parliament understand why this is a good deal for Europeans too, but I'm sure that we will get there. Of course, it's not going to be easy. That the dates that we had penciled in for signature, we were working on, and etc., now come in the middle of what could be the coronation of a new British Prime Minister. There could be changes, of course, at cabinet level, as we expect there will be. There could be changes at junior minister level. They could all be happening on the days when we penciled in to sign. But that is logistics and practicality rather than concept somehow being rejected. But I thought it's just the final curveball that the gods have sent in my direction. And just because I've said it's likely the final one, there'll be a couple more to come.
The Gibraltar Music Festival is back. The new Summer Sessions format will see 3 evening concerts this coming 3rd, 4th and 5th of September. Headliners include James Morrison, Sophie Ellis-Bextor, 10cc, Rosario and Billy Ocean. There'll also be some local acts in the lineup, including Mel and Diesel. They'll all be performing at the Europa Sports Complex at no cost to the taxpayer.
You better not kill the groove. When we're gonna get stuck. When we're gonna get wrong. We are Gibraltar Music Festival!
Why bring the GMF back? I think Gibraltar really wanted this type of event back, and it is our job to make it happen. We're at a time where Gibraltar is looking forward with a new treaty coming into play, and it is our opportunity to offer more tourism-led events.
It's great for business, it's great for the retail sector, it's great for the hotel sector. So we are very, very happy to bring back the GMF in a different format for this year, but it's a format that we think that will work. So we look forward to the 3rd, 4th and 5th of September.
Did
GMF was the highlight of the Gibraltar music scene for many years, bringing huge artists such as the Kings of Leon, the Kaiser Chiefs and the Stereophonics. Starting in 2012, headlined by Jessie J, the event grew over the years into a 2-day fiesta. At its peak, around 25,000 people attended. In 2017, the event rebranded as MTV Presents Gibraltar Calling, with the last festival put on in 2019. So why is it coming back now?
Well, I think Gibraltar has an appetite for this type of event. It is one of our manifesto commitments to do it at no cost to the taxpayer. We found a way that is making it cost neutral as an event, and we're working together with some local and production companies, word of mouth, Jib Media, and as well as all our suppliers are local. We've decided to kind of go for a smaller type of event, so it's a 3-day, 3 concerts with multiple artist event, as opposed to a full-blown festival, because we want to make sure that it becomes a sustainable event.
And will this be a one-off revival, or will we see this as an annual event going forward?
With my production background, we've tried to work it in the past couple of years. As I said, we looked a few years ago, we tried and see how it could work financially, and the way that we're working with sponsors and hopefully ticket sales, it will be a self-funded event. So if we can make it work the way that we predict it will be a very easy event to be an annual event. I'm just really excited to be able to bring some joy during National Week, bring back that nostalgic feeling that we had when we first started GMF. So we've gone back to the GMF brand where it all began.
Tickets go on sale tomorrow. You can get them on buytickets.gi, starting at £45.
The Andalusian branch of the Partido Popular says it will not move to replace the mayor of Algeciras, insisting stability for the city comes first ahead of next year's local elections in Spain. José Ignacio Landaluce suspended his PP membership last year and left the party's Senate group after a complaint was filed with Spain's Supreme Court Prosecutor's Office alleging sexual harassment, misuse of public funds and abuse of authority. The mayor of Algeciras denies all allegations. The PSOE continues to call for his resignation, while the PP says it is not considering any change in leadership at this stage and is respecting the judicial process. You're watching GBC News. Still to come, Cat 2 residents could be charged in future for sending their children to government schools. And in basketball, Gibraltar plays its opening game in the European Championship for small countries, taking place right now at the Tercentenary Hall. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back. Cat 2 residents may be charged for sending their children to government schools in the future. The move comes alongside recently announced stricter residency rules aimed at ending what the Chief Minister described as a free-for-all. Published in the Gazette, the bill will be debated in Parliament and sees the amendments being proposed to the Education and Training Act. However, Fabian Picardo said no decision has yet been made on the level of fees.
The children of a Category 2 individual who would not usually be enrolled in schools in Gibraltar, they may be in private education outside of Gibraltar or indeed in Gibraltar, will not be entitled to have schooling, because we have found some instances where there has been an enrollment by a Category 2 individual. We want to make very clear that Cat 2 is a sort of stand on your own 2 feet route to residency, and it won't just therefore entail this amendment, but also an amendment that if you resile from Category 2 status, you are not going to be entitled to remain resident in Gibraltar.
Has there been a decision on what Category 2 families could be charged, or an indication perhaps of the level of fees that are being considered?
So we've made very clear that we're changing the net worth of the individual who is going to take Category 2. And we haven't yet made any announcement about what the annual taxation will be. Those are traditionally done around budget time. We've also made very clear that those who already have Category 2 status will continue to enjoy the benefit of the status as it was when they acquired it.
So the families with children already attending government schools won't be affected by any introduction of fees?
So we are looking at how those who are already in Gibraltar have their rights grandfathered, and how those who are coming to Gibraltar will have to see the new standards that are applied to them. In terms of education, I don't think we're talking about any meaningful number of people.
Are you concerned whether this could affect Gibraltar's attractiveness to Category 2 residents, many of whom you said contribute significantly to the economy?
I am concerned to ensure that this should have an effect on who finds Gibraltar attractive. I want many less people to find Gibraltar attractive. I want the right people to be brought to Gibraltar, and less of them going forward, because the geography does not change. There's only so much that we can reclaim, and I have a responsibility to protect property for people in Gibraltar, because we need property for people in Gibraltar, and a responsibility to protect public services for people in Gibraltar. So the alternative to what we're doing, if anybody wants to complain about it, is that the free-for-all should continue, and that as Gibraltar becomes even more attractive, so many people arrive that we get pushed out, and I will never allow that to happen. So we were very clear when the number of applications went from 1,000 a year, which is quite enough, to 3,000 in 3 months. Action had to be taken. That's why we're doing this.
With a week to go before the closing date to sign up for Miss Gibraltar, Kelvin Hewitt, the organiser, is encouraging young women to take part. Joined by last year's first princess, Aisling Gonzalez, Kelvin spoke to Kellyanne Borge about why he thinks the sign-ups have been slow so far for this year's pageants.
The change of date, we're going to do it in October. Many girls who are studying would have signed up if Miss Gibraltar would have gone ahead during the summer period. But because it's going ahead hopefully in October, most of the girls that are studying university can't take part.
When I first joined the experience, I was under the impression that pageantry is all about beauty. So
external beauty.
Yeah, external beauty. And so I wasn't up for the experience, in all honesty. I was not. It's actually more about humanity. You're coming along with other women and empowering each other. You're learning so much about yourself and so much about other people. And it's a journey of personal growth. And there's things that I can do now that I never could have done back then.
People have the aspect that it's all about the winning, and it's not. It's how pageants can change you as a person. People may think this is just hours of rehearsals, and it's not that. There's so many events that we do. We have so much fun. We obviously get to meet new people. But yeah, parents, grandparents, if you have sisters or your girlfriend or work colleague, encourage them to sign up, and it will definitely be one of the best experiences they'll live.
Kelvin Hewitt there, encouraging young women to sign up for Miss Gibraltar. He was joined by last year's Miss Supranational, looking ahead to her own international pageant. We turn now to basketball. FIBA's European Championship for small countries is underway right now in the Tercentenary Hall. Gibraltar are playing their opening game against San Marino, and our sports reporter Jose Mari Ruiz joins us live. Jose, how's it looking?
Good evening, Ian. Well, as you can see, the match is currently still being played behind me. San Marino with 3 points have just been missed, and Gibraltar have the ball. We're into the third quarter now. 3 minutes left to play in the third quarter, and Gibraltar are leading 53 points to 37. They've led pretty much throughout the 5th minute of the game. They took a 39-30 lead to the changing rooms and have continued to outplay San Marino here in the second half. Still a lot to play for, but I think it's fair to say that this is the biggest basketball competition the Tercentenary Sports Hall has hosted in years now. It's been happening since 1988, the second time Gibraltar hosted. They did it back in 2014 as well. And this is the 20th edition of the competition. So a lot of brilliant basketball being played. You see now points by San Marino. Although the competition has changed names a few times since it was founded in 1988, the foundation of the competition stays the same. Small countries, serious basketball. Gibraltar, San Marino, Malta and Andorra will all play a round-robin system before the semi-finals are played on Saturday and the final on Sunday. 6 days, 4 teams, and some serious basketball being played here. Gibraltar are close to getting off to a flying start. They currently lead San Marino 53-39. The second game will be against Malta tomorrow at 7:30. It is free to attend, so no excuse to miss out on some great basketball here in Gibraltar.
Thanks, Foster. Gibraltar chasing their first ever podium finish in this competition. 4th spot, their best to date. Let's see if they can do one better. You can keep up to date with all the latest scores on GBC Sports and across our social media. And that's all from the news team. Don't forget, you can, as always, catch up on our website and our social media pages. Enjoy your evening. Good night.